Purpose of the demerger is to ensure that we are able to make each of these businesses stand on their own, make them agile, and also put disproportionate focus on the respective businesses. They are pretty large in their own right, so it is important that we give them the requisite focus. That's the primary purpose. Having said that, there's also opportunities for synergies that PV has with JLR, which we'd really like to leverage. And we expect these synergies to continue to keep increasing as platforms get shared. We're already sharing the EMA platform as the world of software comes upon us. And also as we start having global aspirations on taking the TML, the PV business or the EV business outside to the rest of the world. So there are enough and more opportunities to go for. So that's the benefits from the PV side. From the commercial vehicle side, we are very clearly seeing it's a pretty large business, almost 80,000 crores kind of revenue. And there are multiple opportunities to go after, which requires sufficient focus to be secured.
On the margin side, 15% was the guidance for FY28. Is that on track? And also, what are the factors that will aid this kind of growth going forward?
We have put out a 10% margin for FY26. That 15% is more the guidance that yes, that's what we put out as a focus area for us as an aspiration that we would like to deliver. We haven't called out a time frame for that, but that is what is going to decide the decisions we take in terms of portfolios, the cars that we launch, and the actions that we need to take. But if JLR has to become a premium luxury business, that's the kind of margin expectation that we would expect out of a premium luxury business, and that's what we are working towards. And also the entire incentives of employees, everybody in JLR is also linked into delivery of those kind of numbers. So therefore, it's a cohesive plan.
On JLR, also the debt refinancing front for FY25, if you could also talk about where that will come from for the next year.
See, currently, by next year, they go cash positive. So that business will go from, now they are minus 700 odd million, about 700 million of debt they have, net debt. That will go into net cash next year. And in that, obviously, some amount of debt will be the gross debt will be there. How exactly to finance, I think that will be an operational call that they will take depending on how markets develop. And right now, the focus is to keep repaying the debt that we have.
We were seeing diminishing synergies between the CV and PV business. And therefore, we thought that it is better to rather look at the synergies between PV, EV and JLR. And those synergies basically mean that as we are seeing the advent of disruptive tech like autonomy, connected car, software-defined vehicle, electrification, we saw greater opportunities with JLR, which was not in say last decade or so. So therefore we thought that it is good for us to demerge so that there can be more focus on the specific thrust areas of these two very different businesses, commercial vehicle and the car side of the business. And we are clearly seeing that in these areas we have already started discussing and working on the synergy opportunities with JLR. The first example is of course for our premium EV platform. We are going ahead with the EMA platform of JLR, which is a electric platform. And along with that, we are also working on the software-defined vehicles, electronic architecture, synergies and all. So I think we'll have more opportunities going forward across the value chain.
As far as the capex is concerned, on the commercial side, 40% allocation will be made for advanced technologies. PV and EV, anyway, we are on the path to adopting advanced technologies, and EVs is one of them, of course. But how much of a capex is allocated for this particular business?
So, see, there is no specific number that I want to share here, but given that new tech area is...
Percentage?
No, it might be ballpark more or less the same area, but it will vary from one year to the other, depending on which model is being developed in which year. So, but it would be a significant part of the total capex spend that we would see.
So you did throw around few numbers here, so I just wanted some clarification. You also mentioned a market share of 18 to 20% by FY30, and for EV, 80% market share by FY30 again. Like this 80% market share, I just wanted some clarification there. PVs and EVs, what is the breakdown?
We did not share any market share as far as EV is concerned in FY30. We said that our penetration in our portfolio would be upwards of 30%, right? As far as PV is concerned, the overall PV EV combined market share, which today is about 13.5 to 14%, we aspire to take it to 18 to 20% by FY30.
I think the smart city business is more about maintaining and operating the buses, and the revenue there is on a per kilometer basis, right? So we operate now more than 2,700 buses in the country, electric buses. The second one is about more of spares and service. Service is also either when the vehicle gets serviced, or we are also into maintaining the vehicle for its lifetime on a per kilometer basis.
So overall, if you put all of this together, how much would that be in terms of percentage revenue that would clock in?
So, the third last one, if I may complete, is the digital business, wherein we are offering platforms for the customers to engage with us, do business. So there's one of which is e-commerce platform for buying vehicles, spare parts and other things. And the other one is about maintaining the vehicles and improving the efficiency of their assets, right? So all these businesses plus our international business is already, high teens to 20% of our revenue during the last year. And these businesses will grow at a higher rate as we go ahead.
So you also mentioned some sort of capex that is allocated for advanced technologies as well. So if you could talk about that. And looking at the macro picture, you said there were already challenges on that front, commodity prices also going up. But the monsoon picture right now is not looking very good. IMD is predicted less than normal rainfall also. So on the commercial vehicle space, have you seen some sort of hit or cutback from consumers, from buyers?
So the first question on related to capital expenditure, so we provided a guidance that we will invest around 2 to 4% of our revenue in capital expenditure. And a large part of it is also now going into preparing ourselves for the future mega trends and advanced technologies that I spoke about, right? So that's what we will continue to invest going ahead also. In terms of monsoon and its impact, I think let me give a larger perspective. I think the commercial vehicle industry has come from multiple external events, if I may say so, in the last 4 years, whether it has been the COVID-related demand shock or the increased axle load or two emission transitions. And I think the industry has held up very well. FY24, the volumes were almost equivalent to the earlier peak of FY19. During this year, we thought in Q1, there will be some softness because of the general elections, but actually the industry has held up well. Till the end of May, we have seen almost 8% growth in industry. I think as far as monsoon, this is just the beginning and we should remain optimistic. We do feel that the industry should grow in single digits during the year.
So because if I remember correctly, Mr. P.B. Balaji said that first half will be slower than second half. So that applies to the commercial vehicle space also for FY25.
Generally, I think we have higher amount of demand and industry volume coming in second half of the financial year. Same thing will happen during this year also.
So overall, if you could just sum it up for us, growth outlook for the next 3 years for the commercial vehicle business.
So I think let's limit ourselves to the current financial year. I think we should see single-digit growth on a high base should be very good for the industry.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.